Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures. As always, I am Tony coming at you with a very special guest here. You've seen him in the chats every now and again. Some of you have actually met him at some of the toy shows. You can catch him every Tuesday with Poplander over on Poplander's channel when they present the Evening Blend. He's a very talented photographer as well. You can catch him over on his Instagram. I don't know how to say your Instagram, but it's been driving me crazy for about a year now. How do you say your Instagram?
Mamu's action figure blog.
Mamu's action figure blog. Make sure you go over there because, like I said, every day he's getting better and better with the photography. Might be the smartest guy I've ever interviewed before as well. So I'm excited to see hear his take, hear his analysis about the toy stuff. Please welcome to the show the very talented, the very, very smart Matthew Matson. Welcome to the show, but it's good to have you here, man.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's good to have you. As I said before, you're one of the smartest guys I've ever talked to. So I'm going to pick your brain a little bit as we go on here. But listen, you from your photography, I see that you collect all sorts. It's not just a honed in thing, which I'm very happy. A lot of guys recently I'm talking to, they seem to just be honed in on one line. So I'm happy to be bouncing around. But we're going to start right at the top where I ask all my guests the same question: where did you start collecting? What line got you start collecting? And when did you realize that, oh shit, this is becoming like more than a hobby. This has become
Yeah.
like my everyday life now.
Yeah. I mean, it could have started at a very, very early age. Yeah, I'm getting toys from my parents and stuff. But it always instilled in me this thing. Because as a kid, my parents would get me all these different kinds of lines, Starcom, Air Raiders, Sky Commandos. I never had but a handful of Star Wars toys as a kid. And I always wanted Star Wars toys, but GI Joe and He Man and Mask and Legos, they were the ones for me. When I started buying them on my own, would have been the early '90s,
Oh,
um,
wow. Okay.
and I got into it because Final Fantasy VII. Okay, Final Fantasy
Okay.
VII was such an amazing game. It was life changing. It was on at the same time as Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all this other stuff is going on all around the same time. And
Yeah.
I was looking everywhere for uh, things from Final Fantasy VII. And then I finally came across at a GameStop or something like the video game store. They had
Yeah.
import figures, and so I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then I noticed that they had the McFarlane Metal Gear Solid figures. And I'm like, "Oh crap! I got to get these." Right. And so I was collecting video games, but I started getting into collecting some of these other toy lines, uh,
Yeah.
and then I was collecting GI Joe before that too, but really I got back into it when the 25th anniversary GI Joe started coming out. You had
Okay.
the collectors club was going on, and GI Joe was just rampant everywhere. I started finding them in the comic book stores. I said, "These are awesome." You
Yeah.
got
It's
these
great.
little 4-inch,
Yeah.
greater articulation, more detailed,
Yeah.
and stuff that I didn't have as a kid because I had a lot, but I didn't
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff, and so I was like, oh, I got to get this stuff to fill in my holes in my collection, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm all in by
Yeah.
Pursuit of Cobra and all that stuff.
Yeah. I just it's funny because just recently I was talking to somebody else and they showed me all those 25th anniversary GI Joe figures and those newer ones. And at the time, I was collecting the Marvel Universe ones, the same scale,
Yeah.
and never occurred to me to look three shelves over at the GI Joe section. I just they never even realized that they were even making those. I must have walked by GI but I always used to see the movie line figures, so I
Hmm.
just thought they were dog shit because usually movie line figures aren't that good. So I just thought they're gonna be fucking. Now realizing that they're actually GI Joes in there
Yeah.
when I think it was Mikey at Jim Jam, he was showing me all of the like the ones that were under the Rise of Cobra banner. He's like,
Yep.
these are all figures that you could have gotten that weren't in the movie. They were actually just GI Joes. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe how amazing that line was and how deep it went. I was very
Yeah,
shocked.
the Pursuit of Cobra kicked off really their innovative wave, and Bobby Vallo was a part of that. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
he was he was in helping design some of that wave and working on that, going back and forth between Marvel Legends and that. But that's when they got innovative. That's when they got new designs. They went kind of
yeah,
crazy with it, and then with Retaliation, those that POC to Retaliation 30th anniversary figures were the best figures that GI Joe has ever made.
Wow.
You know, you've got some Renegades figures in there too, but basically that time frame, was it 2014 to 2018 maybe,
Yeah.
is the highest. And then their quality did a sharp downturn for the 50th anniversary figures, and then the ones they released at Walmart, on the retro
Okay.
cards, so to speak, or whatever, they started making a slightly different scale, but the plastic got real cheap and the paint apps started flaking off and stuff, and they were
Oh,
pretty much done with that
yeah,
scale
yeah.
of figure.
Okay. Do you still have them in your collection, or were those something that you gave away? No, you still have them
No,
around?
So there was a tight point in my life, and I sold everything except for my GI Joes, some of my
Okay.
Transformers, and a couple other knickknacks here and there. I got rid of all of the other stuff that I was collecting.
Yeah.
I still have He-Man, Battle Cat, Skeletor, Panther, and Castle Grayskull, but I got rid of all of my other Motu stuff.
Poof.
Um,
Now, did
uh,
you take good care of it, or did you like overplay with it? And
Man,
because
I
like,
play with everything,
yeah.
but some of it was still in really good condition. But
Okay.
I
Okay.
I played with my stuff. I always,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not an inbox. You know, there's what I have half a dozen GI Joes that are on card that I've
Okay.
got stashed away,
Yeah.
and probably the most valuable one that I have is the Vietnam era Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Stalker 3 pack with issue 26,
Yeah. Wow.
comic pack.
Yeah.
That one's pretty cool. I always wanted to take them out because those figures are awesome, but I was like,
Really.
I'm going to find them loose someday.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, would you say that is this will just lead me right into this question. I haven't asked this one in a while, so I'm glad to ask this one today. Would that be your Grail piece, or do you have another piece in your collection that you would consider a holy Grail that you couldn't live without?
Man, I mean, if there is one thing that would be my grail of toy collecting, it would be the Defiant Launch Complex.
Oh wow, you got the whole thing, huh?
I mean, I don't have it, but you
Uh,
know, I had the Crusader as a kid,
okay,
but
okay.
I didn't have the whole launch complex, and that was the one that I was like, "Come on, what's going on
Yeah,
here, Dad? You work for NASA and all this stuff. Come on."
it's a no-brainer, man. Come on.
I mean, I had the Fisher Price space shuttle and all those space
Yeah,
toys, and I had the Crusader,
yeah,
but prior to that was the whole Defiant complex, and I was like, I guess it was just too big.
yeah. So, out of all the collections that you got right now, all the lines, I should say. I'm sorry. What is the one you're most into right currently? Like, what is the one you're really diving into the most? 'Cause I always see your pictures. You always got somebody, something new that
Well,
that you're using.
the algorithm is driving a little bit of it.
Okay, okay,
The algorithm, in my case, is
yeah,
starving for GI Joe, so I'm
yeah,
always
yeah.
doing stuff with GI Joe. Um, but the line that's really kind of inspiring me, is like getting me super excited about everything, is everything that Harbinger Studios is doing. Savage Crucible.
Oh yeah.
I'm not into their sports figures necessarily,
Okay.
but you know, they've got Elric, they've got Death Dealer.
Yeah,
They're doing bases now, so they're getting involved with the other people in the community, whatever you want to call it,
yeah, yeah.
who are doing 3D designs. Like this one guy designed the whole Ruby throne for Elric, and they designed these little platforms, and then they started saying, "Hey, we can make these." And so then they sold these bunch of bases that you
Oh
can hook
wow.
chains to the floor. You got skulls, you got rats, you got all kinds of things you can put on these stands that
Yeah.
plug together as these bases, and they're really cool. And you know, they're doing a thing at one of the conventions coming up where they're gonna him and Vala are gonna, and a couple other people are gonna basically judge these contests at Titan Con,
Okay.
for photography, for dial building, for custom action figures, and for photography. So
Wow.
you got 4 contests to enter. The top prize is $500,
Not
and the
bad.
top 3 prizes are cash, and then like they got 14 other $50 prizes that they're giving out in 4 different categories.
Yeah.
So you know,
Oh yeah.
Vala and Harvinger are supporting this, and being big people, you know, making sure that this takes place. But it's amazing creativity that's coming out of this, the toy collectors right now, because
Oh
the
yeah.
customizability of the Valverse figures and the Savage Crucible stuff. It's
That's
really
really true.
cool.
Yeah, it's very true. Now, if you had to wager to guess on your own, do you like military when you're doing photography? This is photography, by the way. Do you like to shoot a fantasy side, like let's say Savage Crucible? Would you prefer to shoot a fantasy side things, or do you like the military, that kind of stuff? Because I tend to, I don't know. Sometimes when I shoot with fantasy figures, there's less of a constriction because you
Yeah.
can kind of mix and match. You can kind of go a little crazy with it. Whereas when you shoot with Joe's or Valorverse, you're kind of, I don't say pigeonholed, but you know what it is. It's like a mission or something like that.
They both have their limitations and freedoms. I
Yeah,
find that the fantasy side of things is so open and free that there's so much I can do with it, but
yeah,
it's also constricting in that you have to have the right environments for it, right?
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
When I started building my environments, it was more for my Joes to fight aliens, right?
Okay, okay.
And so I got these big diorama pieces and these
Yeah,
sector sixes and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff, so I can throw my guys in there and I can throw my aliens at them. Back in the couple several years ago, whatever, I picked up a bunch of those Leonard 6-inch aliens that they did.
okay, okay.
I
I didn't know
mean,
they did that. Yeah.
they were like for $10 a piece. $10 a piece,
Wow.
you get an alien, an egg, and a face hugger, right? Or
Okay.
whatever. And
Yeah.
they're painted funny colors. Okay, get some RIT dye, dump them in the RIT dye. They look awesome. Then you take a little chrome pen and you chrome their teeth. Man, these things are sweet,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
they're not well articulated, but they're well detailed enough that they look good in photos.
Yeah. To get the job done.
Yeah, and you know what? For $10 a piece, man, you can't beat it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I had a deal like that come across my table. I think about a year ago with those Buzz Lightyear. Remember when the Lightyear movie they just started kind of just getting rid of all of the stock, whether it was a
Yeah.
plane, the cannon. Well, I picked up it was a 3 pack. It had two 5 inch like a Buzz Lightyear and Izzy Hawthorne. Then it had one of those Zerg robots that was about 7 inches tall. And that thing went down on Amazon to about $3.50, and I could not believe it. I bought like
Nice.
12 of them things, and like you said, articulation not the best, but when you're shooting something like to have an army of robots or like an army like an alien like horde, you can't beat that. When you start army building and you see a price like that, you have to
Oh
jump
yeah.
on it. Like when I saw that price, I was like 350. These
Yeah.
robots I'll make them play if I have to.
I
I'll
picked
get,
up
I'll get creative.
I picked up one of those Buzz Lightyear jets so I could
Yeah.
take out the seat in there, and you can
Mhm.
put a 6-inch classified figure in there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it substitutes for my Conquest X30 when I need it.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, for real. Which one was it? If you don't mind me asking, is it
uh,
the one that opens up and he flips out? Is it that one, or is it?
y- yeah, I think so. It's the one with the swept wings, kind of forward.
Okay, yeah.
And
'Cause I
yeah,
got
he,
two of
he
them.
he he pops out of that.
Yeah, because I got two of them. I got that one, and then I had gotten another one where it's kind of just a plane, and it just like a regular, and I just was able to. You can only get Baroness in it because I made it for
Mm,
Cobra. I painted it blue,
yeah,
and you can only get the female. So I mean, obviously now they have the female troop figures that would probably fit in there nicely.
right.
But those Buzz Lightyears, that line,
Yeah.
highly underrated.
Oh yeah.
I really believe that because that really, if you like you said, if you're a little creative, man, you could have taken like I took the small trucks and made them work.
Yeah.
And I seen guys just cut the roof off and make it like a go kart that you would drive around a factory and things like that. It was so versatile that line. I was very
Well,
shocked to see
I
what you could do with it.
I love to see what people did with that drill thing or whatever. They turned it into the cannon or
Cannons,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
and
I did
they
that,
fit
yeah,
the figures great. No,
yeah.
no, there was a lot to like about those kind of lines, and it's kind of a shame to see them come and go so fast sometimes.
Oh yeah, for real, man.
But you find them cheap, you can tear them apart and do whatever you want with them, and
I know.
that's kind of fun too.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Now, what you said you start building scenes right now. Do you do? I see some extreme sets behind you.
Yeah,
Do you usually tend to just go extreme sets, or have you tried to build dioramas or anything like that?
man, I am not talented that way. I mean, I used to paint BattleTech miniatures, pewter miniatures, and stuff like that. When they went to plastic, I was a little concerned about the different paints and stuff, but that's been a long time. And then I have this. Okay, it's my kryptonite. Okay, here you go, everybody. Here's my kryptonite. Styrofoam of any kind. I cannot hear it.
Right.
I can't get near it. It
Okay.
drives me
Okay.
insane.
I
So
got you.
cutting on that stuff, can't do it. But balsa wood, I can cut me up some balsa wood
All
and
day.
throw some stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever need an alternative to XPS foam, because I know styrofoam sometimes ain't out nobody's bag,
Yeah.
you could go EVA foam. You won't get any of that sound or any of that stuff, but you could still heed the same result because you could
Okay.
still use a burn tool and burn all kinds of details that you would on an XPS sheet. You could burn it on EVA, and
Okay.
if you just stick the EVA foam piece to like let's say a piece of I don't want to say Luan wood, but like Luan wood or MDF, like a thin
Hmm.
piece of MDF board, you could as conceivably get the same results you would get with that shit without having to deal with all the
Yeah.
all crazy weaknesses that
Yeah.
you have. um, so all right, so let's get to this question then, because like I said, you've been taking pictures of a lot of figures. You've had a lot of opportunities to purchase a lot of figures. What would you say right now, aside from Savage Crucible and GI Joe, what are some other lines that you like to sink your teeth into currently?
I right now I'm kind of sticking to that. I mean, I like the
Okay,
whole cryptid things.
okay,
I there was shoot, I can't think of the name of it right now. But there was a cryptid line of figures that came out like 10 years ago or something.
okay,
Um, they did a Rougarou. They did a zombie werewolf. They did Abominable Snowman and stuff like that.
okay.
And they were 7-inch figures or whatever, and they
Yeah,
came with little display stands that had little scenes on them and stuff.
okay.
And they were so cool. And so I picked up one of those. That was the first real werewolf that I got. That I'm like, oh man, I need to get more werewolves.
Hell yeah,
Um, but their site was still functioning a while ago. But they've been like out of print for a long time.
yeah.
I like that kind of stuff. I
Okay.
like filling the gaps in what I'm looking for. If I find something that I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, I need that. Like, I need a gort. So, here's my gort, right?
Yeah,
From the day the earth stood still.
but still, yeah, yeah.
Get my ROM figure going on. Um, and then everything else in fantasy is based off of filling in Conan and Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos,
Oh wow,
right?
really?
Which is really why I love Savage Crucible, because they did
Yeah,
lizard men first,
yeah, yeah,
barbarians second, and fish people are third, right?
yeah.
So I got all in on that Kickstarter at the beginning. So I got a bunch of fish people coming.
Wasn't there a figure line that made like a Cthulhu figure?
Yes.
Okay, there was one, right?
Yeah,
You did.
there's been one or two, I think, but
Okay.
they're super expensive.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. What are you? Do you have an eye on those? What is it? Those memory toys or whatever it is now they make it the cryptids, like they made Sasquatch and all those. Because I like, obviously, if you come to the channel, we have a long running joke about Sasquatch, and so
Yeah,
as soon as I saw that Sasquatch figure, I immediately was like,
oh
"Oh,
yeah,
that's immediate purchase."
absolutely.
So like, and I love cryptids too. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Were you a fan of the like a figure obscuras and things like that? Did they catch your eyes?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't forget what their first one was, but the Headless Horseman was the one that
Oh
got me.
god, yeah,
Okay,
that
so
was
the
good.
the
Yeah,
Headless Horseman is what got me
yeah.
really to buy Mythic Legions at all.
Wow, really?
I mean, I was looking for, okay, I needed some goblins. Conan's got to fight some goblins, and they
Yeah,
got
yeah,
some skeleton dudes, so I got to get some of those skeleton dudes.
yeah,
And that was my first foray into any Mythic Legion stuff. And then I'm like, I got to get all of the figure obscura.
yeah. They're
And
pretty sick, man.
I've got a lot of them now. I love them. My wife's big into Egyptology and stuff like that,
Okay.
so I had to get those.
Yeah.
Darren, 3-star draw, just sent me Red Death,
Oh wow,
the
cool.
original one.
Yeah,
I love the fact that they're putting the stories in there.
yeah.
And Krampus. I got the retail version of Krampus. I like the red better than the black one,
The black one. Okay.
because he's the devil, right? I mean, he
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
the devil.
Yeah.
So I throw that in there a bunch of different places. So
See,
that's cool.
I went to Naughty or Nice for Krampus, and because I got Santa Claus first, because I was
Yeah,
always
that Santa
Santa.
Claus is awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Now at the time they didn't have the regular Santa Claus, 'cause I
Oh,
just
okay.
wanted the jolly happy one, so I got the one that is like a little meaner. He comes with the brass knuckles and the bats, which I was cool with because I thought it was, I'm cool with that. But I
Yeah,
really it was really just a test figure because I want Krampus because I'm a big fan of Krampus. I like that whole mythos for him, and they are good figures.
yeah,
Little they lack a little in articulation, but I think
yes,
it's it's just a part of the mystique. I just what I said to myself when he came. I opened him up out of the box. I'm like, all right, well, he hasn't got much articulation, but I was like, he's fucking Santa Claus.
yeah.
Like, who gives a shit? Like, just be happy you got Santa Claus. So,
Yeah,
um,
and that was Fresh Monkeys Fiction's first real foray into a larger scale action
action
figures,
figure, right? Yeah.
because
Now, how
because they
you?
were doing 4 inch before
Yeah,
that.
the Eagle Force, right, and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Yep.
Now, how do you feeling about fresh monkey fiction since you're into the cryptids and the aliens and the monsters? Is that something that you're like, oh man, I can't wait, give me more of these? Because I have a few of them, like the vampire, the Delta Warriors, and I am a fan. It's just that price tag is a
Yep.
little, but for what they are, like if they were a little bit more affordable, they would have all my money. I don't know how you feel.
So I don't know how their business model is moving. They are so slow in production and getting stuff
Yeah,
out. It's super frustrating.
yeah.
And yes, I love the ideas of the things that they want to do. It's pretty exciting when you've got a Johnny Quest and a Doctor Venom figure that's coming together. Like
Oh,
with a swappable head, you could be Johnny Quest or you could
yeah,
be Doctor Venom. You've
yeah,
got these Red Shadow figures that are coming. I love the werewolves are my thing, right? So
yeah,
the Crimson Moon stuff with the werewolf swappable heads and hands on the figures. I really like that. I think it's a cool idea.
hmm,
Um, I don't know how all into it I'm going to get because of that price tag.
yeah. That's the issue.
Um, but I'm 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 GI Joe. I'm Savage
Ugh,
Crucible. I mean, they're taking up my time these days. So
That's the thing I noticed, and this is a question I was going to ask you. Are you feeling like we're getting too much a little too fast? Like they're trying to hit us with too many lines too fast, and I'm not saying that obviously some people can afford this. I mean, I don't know, some people have disposable incomes, but like if if you don't, your wallet's kind of telling you like, hey man, you got to stick to one or two lines
yeah.
top because this is too much too fast. Is that how you're feeling too? Because
Oh
like I
yeah,
said,
for sure.
it's crazy because like I feel like just yesterday we just was like, "Oh my god, they're making 6-inch GI Joe figures," and
Yeah,
now there's like 7 different army lines. We like,
yeah,
wait a minute, just like GI Joe just it was a couple years ago, just and now we're getting all these army men, and I'm just kind of like, I got into this through Marvel Legends. That's how I got into big comic book guy. So Marvel Legends was my forte into this, and
yeah,
then I needed, like anybody who starts taking pictures, you need people to get beaten up by superheroes. That's how I got to GI Joe and Valaverse
yep,
and all that stuff. But like, I just feel like there's going to be I don't want to say a tipping point, but maybe it's this whole thing where like I know a lot of people complain about these tariffs and all this stuff that's going on with the price tag of toys going up
yeah,
and getting a little too expensive for people. Do you feel that it's going to be like a change in the guard? Like eventually,
yeah.
I don't know if I could say the well's going to run dry, but someone's going to cut this tap off real soon. And
I think it's coming to a head. I think all of this stuff is piling up. People are already freaking out over space.
yeah, yeah,
The last GI Joe HasLab was slow to get going.
mhm,
People that don't understand crowdfunding math were afraid that it wasn't going to make it with all its tiers. I knew it would,
yeah, yeah,
but at the same time, it's so far less than the rest of them. They've got to really think hard about what they're going to do next.
yeah,
And there's an end point, right?
yeah,
There's only so much that people want or can get,
yeah.
and you don't have as many of those people that are Marvel Legends collectors that get everything Marvel Legends, right?
I gotta say now, maybe you, I don't know if you agree, but what I noticed with GI Joe, whenever something comes out, it either sells out or it's hard to get, right? But like you said, with Marvel Legends with the select few things, man, you can. you gotta rush. Like it'll come out. And this is the thing that upset me. Like, and always they always do it with builder figures, and they get me, and then I get mad that they got me.
Yep.
Whereas like you see a builder figure, like I have to have that, and then like a year or two later, they just come out with that builder figure with a couple extra heads and hands, and you're like, man, if
Yep.
I would have just waited, I would have gotten all the extra stuff too. You know,
I you know, I that's why I was very careful at which ones I went for,
okay,
because I knew that if you go with Khonshu, that build a
yeah,
figure,
yeah.
they're not gonna make that new figure. That Khonshu
Mm.
is that Khonshu. It's the only one that's going to be made, right?
The funny thing is, I thought that about Strong Guy. 'Cause I
Oh
was
yeah,
like, they're not gonna make Strong Guy I figured this is it. This is your only chance to get him as a build a figure. And then lo and behold, 5 years later, now they're making
yeah,
Strong to me, he's such a weird, obscure character down in what X Factor or some shit. Like I just felt like, well, they wouldn't remake him, and now they're
yeah.
remaking him. So it's just kind of like, well, what
The
are you doing here? Like,
the only other build a figure that I got in was the Ursa Major. Um,
okay, the
I
bear. I like that
yeah,
one too.
I guess that I did get the. I don't even know who he is. He's the white Sasquatch robot guy.
Windigo,
No, no,
Windigo.
it's not Wendigo. It's the
Oh,
robot guy. Um,
oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know who the hell that
I,
is. Yeah,
I don't even know the character, but I wanted
yeah,
every figure in that wave, so that was a byproduct, right?
that was a buy. Now, are you like me? Would you prefer like I'm fine if you don't have builder figures and you just release those as like a deluxe figure,
Yeah,
but instead of giving us a builder figure, maybe give us like a builder. I don't say dio, but like maybe like just a small little thing that they could just build to, where it's like maybe like a small lab, like a Reed Richards lab, and maybe just like a lab table or something like that. Would you prefer something like that, or are you okay with the builder figures?
you know what? I would absolutely prefer a build a dio
Right? I would love
feature.
that.
I mean,
Yeah,
but you got to think of it from the perspective here. A lot of people buy these things just to put them on their shelves,
on
right?
shelves. Yeah,
Put them in a case, whatever. They're not taking pictures with them. They're not really even playing with them, right?
yeah, I got you.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you and me, we're talking about making movies, right?
yeah,
We're talking about setting up scenes, telling
hell yeah,
stories, and so
yeah.
all of that stuff is so important because there are so many figures that I have bought just for the accessories. And you know, Lawrence, a punk with toys, will tell you he's starting to realize that now too because he's looking at
Brother.
stuff in a different way.
Yeah, brother, like, that leads me to dude, if I could like, I tell this story multiple times. I bought snake eyes for the polar bear
Yeah,
and the mass device. Like,
yeah,
I have snake eyes already. I don't need another one. Like, I just really wanted that polar bear and those mass devices.
yep.
And it just leads me to this question: like, what led you to like you started collecting? So, what led you to photography? Like, what made you decide? Like, you know what? I want to start telling stories with these things. I want to start painting images with them. I want to continue to play with my toys even though I'm an adult and you're not supposed to. Like, what led to your decision to start with the photography and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, I've got a background in film,
Okay.
and
Hell yeah.
I was always liking to tell stories, and I would write stories, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I saw these 6 inch figures, and I I wasn't real keen on getting into 1/12 figures,
Okay.
but they had a lot of good detail. And every now and then I'd pick up a Marvel Legends. Oh, I want a Captain America. That size is cool. Whatever. I got a
Yeah.
Batman. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then GI Joe came out, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. And there's several things out there. And my first goal with collecting action figures and all this stuff was to complete issue 21 in action figure form. And so I
Oh,
did everything I could to do that, and I did it.
yeah.
I did it, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and now I want to kind of almost want to kind of redo it because I've got better figures to do it
Is
with.
to do with. Yeah. You know
Um,
what? But hey, if you got them, do it. Give it a shot. I saw you one of the ones you did recently, and that's the thing I really wanted to talk to you about because I was a very big fan of how you recreate the GI Joe comic book covers with the figures. I think that's a really cool way to utilize the figures and stuff like that. I know like they have the ACBA to do all that stuff, but I feel like they have too many rules and restrictions.
yeah, yeah,
So I feel like when I see things like that, where you're taking your toys and you're recreating some of the comic books that you remember, you know, that's like that's a level of play, man. That
yeah.
is special to me. Like that's so I loved what you did with those, and the one you did with Was it with the Rattler and the Dragonfly, or the one with just the Dragonfly, where it looked like it was mid-flight? And I was very, you did a great job, dude. Like I
So,
was like, wow, it
well,
was a really good
there
shot.
was a, well, I did several of those,
Yeah, yeah.
but you might be talking about the Action Force cover. It was a UK comic, and it had
Okay,
the dragonfly coming up, and it had two stingers down on the ground
that's the one.
firing up at it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. That was good. And I was like, "This is a great fucking shot, dude." And then see, like, you were recreating the comic book cover. Or I'm like, "This is what." Like again, I'm just speaking for myself, but when I see stuff like that, I go, "This is what the toys are made for." I
yeah,
know we can all just take them out, admire them, and then put them on a shelf and just leave them there forever. Or like you said, you could put them in like a vacuum sealed box and hang the box, and that no one ever touched them. But man, when I see someone take those toys and do something like that, it's like this is what they were made for. This is why they come with the accessories.
yeah,
This is why they articulate the way they do, is because you're supposed to do this with them. And I just love to get into the head of people like who take the pictures just to see like what was your motivations there? Like why would you like, and to hear that like you have a love and affinity for these comic books
yeah.
and you just wanted to recreate the covers. Like I said, that's a level of play, man. That holds very, it holds a very high place in my heart, man. So I got to
There
tip
was
my cap to you, dude. Fantastic stuff.
the very first comic book cover that I did
Yeah,
was of the very first comic book I ever had.
that's awesome.
And it
That's
was a
awesome.
hand me down Spider-Man issue,
All
and
right.
it's this epic one. And I've redone this. I painted this one on. I upscaled it and painted it. I love this cover, I can't remember the issue number, but it's Spider Man, and he's got Green Goblin like this, and
Okay.
Spider Man's going one way, Green Goblin's going the other way on his thing, and his thing's falling back behind him, in an alleyway, and it took me a long time to finally get that one the way that I wanted it to.
Okay.
But it hit at just the perfect time because people were starting to ask me to do collabs, and they wanted to do a Spider-Man collab with me. And I said, awesome. And so I threw this one out there. I was so excited about it,
Oh yeah.
man. And it was awesome. I just had so much fun making that.
Yeah.
I had to do a Spider-Man with Juggernaut, and Juggernaut's all in the shadows except for his eyes are cut out and stuff. I just Batman covers. I started working on the Hush comic book. I started getting the Mafex Hush figures because I wanted to
Yeah.
create all the panels in the Batman Hush.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I've kind of fallen away from that, and I probably would get back to it sometime. But
Yeah.
I did a lot of panels of that comic book.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude. Now, would you consider maybe doing like a? You should could like maybe do like a slideshow with all those panels, and
So
maybe
that's
with,
what I did with issue 21.
okay.
Is that once it was complete, I threw in some sound effects and I made a little
Yeah.
video clip, and it's on my Mamu's Action Figure Blog YouTube channel, which only has like two videos on it that you can actually see because it
Yeah.
was a converted channel from something else I used to do with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just put stuff up there so I can throw it out and say, hey, look, remember I did this.
Yeah. Apart from the Defiant right now, currently, in terms of the action figure landscape, are there any things out there that you got your eye on where you're like, I got to get my hands on this thing before it's too late, or like I want this for my collection. I have an idea to shoot something. Is there anything out there currently right now that you got your eye on?
I mean, nothing off the top of my head that's not like unobtainium, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The snake armors. I'm so excited about those. I've been excited about those. So I had a friend make me some a while back that are just like the original toy, and you can actually put a classified figure inside of it, and it's held together with magnets. It's all 3D printed, but the
wow, okay,
legs and the arms and
yeah,
the front and back casing is all magnets.
magnets, yeah,
And so I got a white one and a couple blue ones, and I've been playing with those. But I want the new one, this giant mecha that they created, and I
that's
have
sick.
so many ideas for it.
Did you pre-order a few of
Yeah,
them, or
yeah,
you got a couple of them coming?
yeah.
That's that thing. See, here's the thing, man, and it leads me to my next question. Um, I'm so sick of like the exclusives because I tend to snooze you lose. I get it, and I don't get mad about that stuff. But like I don't know where they are when they go when they're so Walmart, Target, Amazon, Hasbro Pulse. Are you annoyed by this exclusive system too, or is it just something that we have to live with?
Yeah, I'm really annoyed by it, but it is something that we have to live with
Yeah, right.
because um, when they offer an exclusive deal to somebody, that's because they want to make them feel special, right? They know how hot this stuff is,
Yeah,
and they want Target to get their piece, and they want Walmart to get their piece, and they want
yeah,
Entertainment Earth to get their piece. Whatever it is, that's why they have to do it, and they pick items that they know are going to be of lower quantities than the mainline items.
yeah, yeah,
Like, we're not going to sell as many of these, so let's make it exclusive. So they have to come over here to get it,
yeah, yeah,
and that makes the company feel special, and that makes the consumer frustrated as all get out because now you're pigeonholed into getting it in one place because they're not going to make as many.
yeah. What would be your favorite exclusive then? Out of all the exclusive they've come out with so far, what would be like? Yo, I'm so happy I got this one.
Man, that's a tough one. There's so many of them out there that I'm like, which one is super special to me? Um, I mean, that Headless Horseman,
Yeah, right.
the original one. Whatever. People like the retail exclusive versions better sometimes than the originals.
Okay.
In the case of that one, I don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't like the green as much as I like the regular flame colors on
yeah,
that one was so awesome to me. The Dragonfly has a real special place for me as a kid. Um, that was one of my favorite vehicles. That and the Sky Striker. My dad got
yeah,
me all this stuff. I was a
yeah, yeah.
pilot. He was a pilot. But my dad broke my original Dragonfly.
Oh, jeez.
He spun the blade around backwards and it snapped right off because it was controlled by the rotary
Yeah.
switch, right? And so then he replaced it with a Tigerfly. So I still have the Tigerfly, but it wasn't the Dragonfly,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so I had to get that one, and that one was super cool.
Hell yeah.
And
One of my favorite figures, by the way.
yeah, man, he's so cool.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that figure. Yeah.
and you know what? I'm really loving this Rattler.
Really.
This Rattler's been so awesome.
Buddy, I've gotten lectured by 4 people now because it's still sitting in this box behind me. Because as you said before, space is
Yeah,
becoming a serious enemy of mine, and I just like I want to I want to display this thing correctly. It's a fucking rattler. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't want to just like have the wings folded up just sitting on the shelf. So I'm just trying to find like I telling my friends, I tell anybody who like I said I've gotten lectured by 4 different people like I can't believe you haven't taken it out yet. And I'm just like it's one of those things where it's so massive
yeah.
that I want to give it its proper respect and proper
Yep,
place where I'm going to put it. That's why. But
exactly.
I out of all the HasLabs, because like I said, I'm a Marvel Legends guy, and they had Marvel Legends HasLabs as well. GI Joe for me has had the best HasLabs from Black for whatever Star Wars. They are the best in terms of like. Yes, they're a little expensive, but I feel like and I know a lot of people, and I'm sure you've heard this, where they're like, you don't have to put lights on it, just put it on the shelf for X amount of dollars. Call me crazy, but I like the lights. I
I
like
mean,
all.
that's something special, right?
Yeah, I
It
like.
makes it that much more special.
Yeah, I just feel like it gives it that like we can go to buy McFarlane Batmobiles all the live long day. They're
Right.
affordable and they have nothing to them, and
Yeah.
I have a few McFarlane Batmobiles, and what I've noticed is they're just hollow shells.
Right.
And if you're okay with that, which most people could be, I guess, that's
Yeah.
fine. But when I get a HasLab like the Hiss, the Rattler, or the Dragonfly, unfortunately, I didn't back the Snowcat again, more because of space at this point.
Yeah.
Um, I see the lights, I see all the little stuff it comes with, the tears or whatever, and I'm just like, man, you can't beat these things. These are the
Yeah.
best ones out of all of them. Out of all 4, obviously you say the Dragonfly, I'm assuming it's the Dragonfly. Out of all 4 that have come out so far, is that your favorite HasLab from
The
classified yet? The
I
Dragonfly?
mean, yeah, man, I like all of them so much.
Yeah,
It's hard for me to say, but I gotta say that Dragonfly followed me around for a while, and I still love pulling it out and taking a bunch of pictures. I just did
dude.
one recently where I had Firefly wiring
Yeah,
it full of booby trapping it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. Like when I got it out of the box, I just thought to myself like, what could this thing land on?
Yeah,
That's where I kept thinking in my head, and that's what landed me to start building the 112 tactical battle platform that I'm
nice.
building in the garage because I was just like, I want to. There's an image in my head where I see that thing landed, and all the Joes are in that little control room trying to figure out a game plan,
Yeah,
and I was just like, this is why I bought this fucking thing. So let's
yeah,
have some fun and start building some shit. So like every time I get these goddamn HasLabs, I immediately go, you have to build a diorama, and it's got to be to scale to this thing to fit. And the Rattler is going to be the hardest one because it's so massive.
yeah,
But and don't get me wrong, I will be the first person to tell you I'm disappointed that I didn't back the Snowcat because this is the only GI Joe classified HasLab that I haven't backed yet.
yeah.
And I know that I'm going to regret it when everybody starts getting their Snowcats, but I at this point like it just you're killing me.
Yeah.
They're bigger and bigger. I just
Oh,
where am I
yeah.
going to put all these damn things?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well, so question for you then, if you're
yeah,
building the tactical battle platform,
yeah.
do you have the Fans Hobby Air Eagle?
I don't know, and I don't have that. And like here's the thing: when I started building, I had Woody come over to help me because he's my resident GI Joe expert. So he came over. This goes here. This goes here. I didn't have any of these toys as a kid.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing kids in the neighborhood have them, and I was so jealous because GI Joe to me was always unattainable because it was a lot of the times it was a figure and a vehicle.
Mm,
And you could get the figures by themselves, but it wasn't cooler than getting the figure and the vehicles and all the stuff that came, all the accoutrement that came with GI Joe, whether it's battle stations and
mhm.
and defiance and flags and all that stuff. So my mother never even, my parents never even went down that aisle
Yeah.
because they're like because you're gonna start. I want this. I want this. I want. And you're gonna stick with superheroes because that's
Yeah.
Captain America. You can beat up the bad guys and that's it. But to see where it is now and to see where it's going now, like I'm happy. And being that you are a big GI Joe fan, what is the next one? Do you see? Obviously, it's going to be a Cobra
Yeah.
if they do continue this business model. Like I know everybody's saying they might not. They might just do the direct to order, made to
Yeah.
order ones. Um, which vehicle do you think now Cobra is going to come out with?
And I I hate to say this because everybody's going to have a huge backlash on it because Lenny said it didn't have to be. But I don't know if they're going to go Thunder Machine. I don't
Okay.
know if they're going to do a demon for Destro's Iron Grenadiers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be super disappointed if they do that because if they do the Iron Grenadier version of Destro and put it behind that, I'm going to be a little upset.
Yeah.
But people are wanting the Moray. I don't know that they can venture into the sea stuff. They haven't.
Uh,
They're really hesitant to do so, and for whatever reason, I don't whether they think it won't sell as well or what. I
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways for me to fake some water and get stuff going on with photography.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Oh, without question.
but I would love to see the Moray and the GI Joe whale after that. But
I would love that.
you know, the
That's what I'm hoping for.
the
Those two.
the yeah, the whale would be the biggest HasLab that they've ever done, and it
Yeah.
is going to be a centerpiece if they ever do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the most expensive one for
I
sure.
I wouldn't doubt it 100%. I agree. Yeah. But here's the thing, and you give it like, and now this is just me. Now, like I said, and I'll always be the first person to admit that I'm a GI Joe novice. But you gave us two land vehicles, you gave us two air vehicles. The next necessary one would be sea. Like so to
Right.
me, I understand that. Oh, we don't know if we want to venture down that road, but you also said you weren't going to make a giant plane, and you did. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just like at this point yeah, okay, you shouldn't, but you're gonna. So just do it and give us what this is the thing. I would understand their logic if people were saying, "I don't want boats."
Yeah.
If people but every time I speak to somebody, they're always like, "Oh, I would love a moray. I would love a whale. I would love a hydrofoil. I would," and I'm like, "Well, I know you think people might not want boats, but I think there's a market for it. I think people are kind of." are kind of interested in getting that kind of vehicle. I mean,
Ye
because do you? I mean, I'm sure you got the Fortnite one. Like I
yeah.
immediately ran to Ollie's to get that, and
Oh, yeah. When it
you
was
know,
an Ollie special, man, that was a no-brainer.
yeah, and just like you people are running to get a Fortnite boat. You don't think they're gonna run to the shelves to get a GI Joe boat or a HasLab or whatever?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think they're
people were really upset that Copperhead didn't come with his vehicle, right?
yeah,
And,
yeah,
people are a little not as much, but they're a little upset that CoverGirl didn't come with her vehicle, right? So
yeah,
if you're
yeah,
giving us vehicle drivers, we kind of want those vehicles too. But I will
yeah,
tell you the one thing that classified collectors, GI Joe collectors, have been clamoring for since the line started, that Hasbro hasn't even gotten around to touching or thinking about or even mentioning it, because people were going over to the core, and picking up core accessories, helicopters, and guess what? They have a PT boat, and you can modify
wow,
it, and it looks like a night landing. So it's a rubber raft that you can throw some figures on, and
oh
it looks
wow,
like a night landing, right? So everybody was
yeah,
clamoring for that, because everybody wanted the night landing, because it's a small vehicle. You
yeah,
can make it float real easy. You can throw a couple special operatives on it. You can throw some frogmen on it. Whatever, you can do so much with that night landing, and
yeah.
it's an easy playset vehicle. And here's Bobby Vallis saying, "Look, I gave him 4 years to do, 5 years to do this. I'm going to do it now." And so he's making his version of it,
Okay, yeah.
and he says, and it's going to float. And as soon as he hinted that he was going to make one of those, I messaged him and I said, "Hey, Bobby, you have to make this thing float, so that way you can say that you float everybody's boat."
You know what though? Like I remember seeing like like a screenshot of his boat, and immediately I was like, I'm in.
Yeah,
Like I don't have to see anything else beyond that. And my next question was, does it float? And someone's like, yeah, he said it was going to float. And I'm like,
right.
well, then I'm in. Listen, I have tons of streams and lakes, and I have a pool. Like I can find at least 40 different ways to shoot that thing
Yeah,
in real water. Forget, I mean, of course we can do fake water. It all takes a little creativity and a little bit of cellophane
cellophane.
plastic,
Yep.
and you can make water.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, but to put it on real water, I'm in. Like I'm all in. So I think that if they don't make those water boats, I think they're missing the mark
Yep.
because I
Me too.
think there is a market for it. I think people do like I said, you told everybody, well, we're not going to make planes; they're too big, and then you dropped the Rattler. I think at this point, your logic, your size logic, and space logic, it goes out the window because at this point, everybody, if it's something they want, they're going to back it. They're going to
Yeah.
get it. And brings me to my next question. Would you like to see some of these vehicles, even if they're on a smaller scale? Don't have to be the whale, obviously, but like you were talking about, like CoverGirl with her vehicle and Copperhead with his vehicle. Would you start like I know now Walmart has gotten the Stinger on that, but if they started coming out with more vehicles, a little bit more of a variety, you would just like I would assume just like me. I don't have to speak for you, but you would run to the store to buy these things, no?
Man, if they were in the stores, if they were easy to get, yeah, I would definitely be thinking about how to use it, and if I wanted to pick it up.
Yeah,
I mean, those little Jeeps, they are so awesome. The
I
Stinger
love
and the
them. Yeah,
Vamp,
I love them. Yeah,
the Vamp Mark II, whenever they come out with that one, is going to be an incredible seller for them.
I think so.
Um, and I've been waiting for it. Everybody's been waiting for it. I
Yeah,
love the original Vamp, but they underproduced that one.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't know if they're thinking about a second run, or if that's gone, if that option's even off the table now. Because I'm like, you've got all these people that are clamoring for it that missed it the first time. Reissuing the Vamp would be one of the smartest things they could do, or come out with the Mark II. You
yeah.
know,
I agree. Which one do you like better, the Stinger or the Vamp?
I mean, one's Joe, one's Cobra, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a different usage. Um,
yeah,
so I didn't have to modify, for me. I didn't
yeah.
have to modify my Vamp. I did have to modify my
Buy the
Stinger.
Stinger. I feel the same way. I did the same thing. Yeah,
So I took out all the slatted windows, the armor slats in the
yeah,
window.
Yeah.
I cut them all out because I'm like,
Yeah.
look, I want this to look more like the original toy. And if I'm taking pictures of this, I want to be able to see the driver. And
Hell yeah.
that tinted window is so dark you can't see anything
See.
through it.
No,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's either got to be down the whole time,
Yeah.
but even still, if you cut out that stuff, you've got a through line, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've got this one where I've got my Great Wolf's werewolf picking it up, so it's like it's actually literally holding
Holding the car,
the
the van or
stinger
the
on
stinger,
one
yeah.
side like that, and his face is looking in the window at the driver. And so I
That's
took the
awesome.
picture from the other side, so you see how
Right.
the little cutout, and the werewolf face is right there in it.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
so
Yeah.
cool.
It's just stuff like that where it's like when you get a shot like that, you're like, "It's worth it. I'm
Yeah.
glad I cut this thing open and modified
Yeah.
it." Dude, when I, see, I had gotten I had purchased one stinger myself, and then I had gotten another one as a gift, and, so at that point, I was like, "Well, I have to modify it because I mean, it's cool to have 2 Jeeps, don't get me wrong, but I was like, well, I'm always one of those guys that likes variety,
Yeah.
the options, so I went through Gridiron, and I got all that UPC stuff for the Stinger. Do you enjoy these 3D printers now, creating all of these even more variations and options that we can now maybe like for instance, now that maybe they don't make the Vamp or the Stinger, but you get a couple of Stingers, you can modify through Grid. Are you kind of like happy that you're seeing all this come to fruition with 3D printers and everybody within this toy community kind of just being so creative?
I mean, in the beginning, yes, I'm happy that they're here. I'm happy that they're able
Yeah,
to fill the niche that we cannot. Right.
yeah, yeah.
I had somebody make me up and paint me a Resolute Snake Eyes head, so I could
Okay,
make my
awesome.
own Resolute Snake Eyes.
Okay,
Right. I've had weapons that pulse rifles.
yeah,
Nobody made pulse rifles, so I found a guy who made a bunch of pulse rifles. So
awesome.
I got some pulse rifles,
Oh yeah,
right? And so Mark II Designs is one of the first guys that I really connected with because he was making good quality stuff and he was making exactly what I needed. Right. So
wow, yeah,
I was buying his stuff because he was making the stuff that I felt like I was missing.
yeah,
Uh, as we go down the line, Hasbro's starting to try and make this stuff now. They're trying to play catch up, but at the same time, it gives other options. I Gridiron, I go back and forth on. I have a bunch of their stuff.
yeah,
I needed them to make my version of Storm Shadow that I want.
yeah.
I needed them to help me make an early version of Tripwire before Hasbro did.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 Tripwires now because of the Hasbro.
Yeah.
The Hasbro one came with 2 different armor vests, so if I had a spare buck, I could just throw it on that one.
Make another one,
Um,
yeah.
so I've got a whole platoon of ordnance disposal
Yeah.
guys, right? So I love that stuff. At the same time, I hate it because it's like you got to pay so much more to make the figure what you want it to be
One.
because
That's true.
Hasbro will never make the perfect figure.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the closest one is the retro Snake Eyes. And the only thing I had to add to that was I actually took a movie Snake Eyes sword and threw it in his backpack or threw it
Wow.
in his web gear. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, when I have to go to Marauders Gunrunners to get proper swords for my samurais and ninjas because Hasbro can't make a freaking katana to save their life that's worth a darn. I mean,
Yeah.
they're these little tiny toothpicks, and while
Yeah.
some of them have detail, they don't look right, they don't feel right. So I've got to replace them all with
Yeah.
Marauders ones
Yeah.
because they're the only ones that made decent ones in my head,
See, I love
and
I
those are
love
molded, not 3D printed.
3D printer. Okay, because I love some of these 3D some of these like I don't know what third party or whatever you call them like that help you
Yeah,
with whether it's modding a vehicle, customizing an action figure.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's great, but at the same time, like if you start to modify every figure, then you're like Jesus Christ. Like, because I've
Yeah,
gone to Gridiron a few times, and I love their stuff. I truly do. I love what I did, what I was able to do with that Stinger. I don't even look like the Stinger anymore.
yeah,
So when I look at it, it literally looks like a whole new vehicle, and
that's
that's
awesome.
when I really because I'm into mechs. I'm into mech suits and stuff like that. So I love
Yeah.
what they did with the trouble bubble. I think that was a brilliant fucking move.
Yeah.
And I love what everybody's doing with it now. But um, it's just when you see those price tags, man, you just kind of go, I would love to do it, but man, I mean, like the Stinger stuff was more than the Stinger.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? So
Yeah,
it was like,
and that's my biggest
yeah,
issue with gridiron stuff is that, I'm spending 30-40 bucks on a gear pack for a $25 figure to make the figure version that I want,
yeah,
right? So I only did it for two figures. I did it for Airborne and I did it for Storm Shadow. Those are the only ones
that's
that
it.
I
Yeah,
that I really got into that for because I'm like, okay, these are pretty cool.
yeah.
This will help me flesh this out. But yeah, I mean, gridiron is so expensive, and I get it. I mean,
Right.
it's high quality, highly detailed stuff,
Yeah.
but it's not something I can do.
No,
Um,
yeah, yeah. But the beautiful thing of it to me when and this is basically me just making a positive out of it, is you wind up searching the internet for alternatives, and that's
yeah.
where you find like Arsenal of Pew Pews and
Hmm.
Top Fun and those kinds of people where you're just like, oh, all right, there's a healthy alternative here that I can maybe still kit out my figure
Yeah.
without having to break the damn bank here. And so it's like I said, I'm happy that there's so many. You go on Etsy, man, you just
Oh
type
yeah.
in, diorama or whatever, and just the amount of stuff that pops up, you're just
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh,
Which is
holy
which is
crap.
why I was glad that I found Mark II real early.
Yeah, yeah.
And a new good friend of mine here just sent me a bunch of stuff with some fence panels and the Outpost Defender, which is a GI Joe sandbag, wooden crated, tin roof,
Okay, okay.
little fort type of thing.
Yeah,
The Outpost Defender, 3D printed, man, high quality stuff, fits together,
yeah,
pops together so nice, looks incredible when you shoot it.
yeah, yeah,
And Plastic Fantastic is just a phenomenal person as it is. I mean,
yeah.
he hates to charge for this stuff. I mean, he's got to charge something for it,
He's got to. Yeah, you got to.
but
Yeah,
man, he's practically giving this stuff away. He was giving away these fences at Joe Fest. If you went to Joe Fest and he saw you, he would give you this whole packet of fence posts with barbed
that's
wire
awesome.
that he did and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's how you make your name. You just hand it out to people. People run to the internet to check you out and go, "Oh, this guy's got
Yeah.
a lot of cool shit." You know?
Well, and you look at Duarte Studios, man. He's another great
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Good stuff.
That's
All
what I'm
these
saying. Like
guys.
these guys, they just all they take what you have and they make it better. But at the same time, you have to pay to make it better.
Right.
Just keep that in mind. So it's like you're paying for what you get, but in order to make it better, you're going to have to pay maybe a little extra because in the
Yep.
end, it's going to make it better. So,
Yep.
but I always, man, some of these guys that are bringing, they bring the heat when it comes to these customizations and these modifications and shit like that. But
So you
out of
remember Gridiron did a
yeah,
jump pack a while
yeah, yeah,
back.
okay,
So it had the
yeah,
platform and all that stuff, and they did this
yeah,
whole big thing. Well, Plastic Fantastic is now doing his version of it. And honestly, that was also one of the first things that I found from Mark II Designs is the jet packs, and he made them in Cobra and Joe's. And
okay,
he had the hair dryer pistol for Cobra Commander. He had all these different accessories that he was making and kitting
yeah,
out for people's stuff with the fit on the backpack. So
yeah. Oh
my
man,
original classified Cobra Commander that I got had a color matched backpack with the hairdryer gun in the back
right
from
on.
Mark II Designs because
Nice.
he saw what was coming out and he jumped on it right away.
Right away, yeah.
And Mark II is the only one that I've seen that will take an actual decent scan of your head and make you a custom head for your action figures.
Wow. You always my issue with like I always wanted to meet a guy who does that because I want to get a proper head of myself, but I because I have long hair,
Yeah.
so I want the long hair to scan right. Because not to say that I tried. Remember that Hasbro one they had where you scan your head?
Yeah, it's vomit.
Awful. I saw because I know a few people who got it. They were like, "Don't do it. It's the worst." And I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
yeah." But I want to find someone who's gonna. If he's that
If you are ever at a show with Mark II
okay.
Designs is there.
Yeah,
If he's still doing them, he's so busy working for everybody else right now. I don't know,
yeah, yeah.
but ask him, and he only does the scans in person.
Person, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'm thinking
Uh,
about
he-
I'm going to Joe Fest next year.
awesome.
So we're going to Joe Fest next year. So if I see, like, I was going to look for that kind of stuff
Yeah.
while I was there, but I
Mark
definitely
Two
give it a
Designs,
shot.
man. He's the man for that.
Hell yeah! All right, cool, man. Cool. So let me. I have to ask you this because I see all that extreme sets in the back. How many extreme sets do you have?
Well, let me see here. I can look that up right now. I have my spreadsheets.
Brilliant, dude. I wish I
You
was
know,
that organized.
I get stuff on sale. I find ways to get them on discount. I found some friends who I do photography with, and every now and then they'll be selling a lot of stuff.
Awesome.
And so that lot may include
Very cool, man.
all the sets that they're not using anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Figure obscura extreme sets. One, two, three, four.
Well, he stopped counting. That means there's a lot.
18.
18. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Oh my
So,
goodness. I have.
some of them aren't complete sets. They're like
Yeah,
accessory packs or whatever. But yeah, no. Yeah.
I have
And I
hundreds.
keep them, somewhat built up, whatever,
Yeah, put
hanging
together
around.
like that. Yeah,
But most of the time they're kind of deconstructed or flattened out somewhere so I can pull them out and set them up and
yeah.
do whatever.
Which one do you think? And I'm because I was just speaking from my personal opinion. Which one do you think is the most versatile? Like out of all of the ones you got, I usually use the science one, the Sector 7 or
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Yeah. So
Always
I
easy.
I
Why do I
didn't
go
get
to?
that one. I actually kind of wanted to get that one, but I've got Sector 6
Okay.
and the Cave 2.0,
Okay.
because you can combine those two together, and you've got this dark looking thing, and then one that they don't. I don't know how many of them they actually made, but it was called a J806M, and it's
Mm,
straight up aliens corridor type of thing,
yeah. Okay.
and
Okay.
you could hook it on to the Sector 6, and it would be like you'd go through the doorway into the hallway that would wrap
The
around.
hallway. Oh,
It
that's
was
brilliant.
freaking awesome. And then you
Yeah.
plug that into the cave set, and you've got a command and control center because you've
Yeah.
got like the Bat Cave thing going on in there.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, that's
that's
awesome.
Batman's Bat Cave, that's Cobra
Yeah.
Commander's headquarters, that's GI Joe's, whatever.
Yeah. Brilliant move. 'Cause right now I have like a sector. See, this is what I do with my extreme sets is I tend to add like depth. So like
Hmm.
I'll add like computer screens and stuff. That's why I like the Sector 7 because it just works for whatever I need. But I'm looking at a couple more now. I got one as a gift. It's the dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't put that together yet. I'm gonna put that together in a couple weeks because that's for my play motion thing. And by the way, I found all your lines and I set it to the scene, and I'm very happy to it's coming. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's coming
Awesome.
along, so I'm excited for that. Um, so I'm gonna hit you with this. This usually the last question or the closing question that I hit you that I hit everybody with is the do you see a shelf life on your collecting days, or is this one of those things that will go until you absolutely can't anymore?
You know what? I'm never gonna stop collecting
Hell yeah,
something,
hell yeah,
right? I mean, video games, action figures, um,
yeah.
vinyl, martial arts stuff.
Hell yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's an endless amount. I mean, I have so much sci-fi memorabilia and photographs and signatures with actors
hell yeah,
and people in Hollywood that I've gotten to meet and sit down and have dinner with some of them. All kinds of stuff like that. That movie props, replicas, that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Wow.
I'd be collecting swords. I have a collection already, but I would have a whole bunch more if I wasn't doing this.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
for real.
there's always going to be something.
Yeah. Does it? You always find out like you're a big time collector, but one collection always tends to get in the way of the other collections. It always
Yeah.
sidetracks you from the other stuff that you collect. Because when I first started all this shit, man, it was I did the same thing. I collected swords. I collected this. I would collect 3D because I was doing cosplay for a while, so I had a lot of costumes.
Oh yeah.
There would
Me
be a
too.
lot of 3D. Yeah, yeah. So I'd have a lot of 3D printed props and things like that. And then like toys just became my life,
Yep.
and all that stuff kind of got pushed to the back burner. And then that was the end of it. Now my whole attic is filled with costumes and props, and because I got all of my action figures down here. But I listen. The one thing I notice every time I speak to people is they never say, "I will never stop." It'll never stop. Like I'm gonna go until the wheels fall off because just when you think,
Yeah.
and this has happened to me a few times, I'm sure it's happened to you, just when you think like, wow, who else can I get from GI Joe or Marvel? Like, I mean, I got everybody, right? And then next thing you know, like, oh, I didn't know they were gonna make that one.
Yeah.
You're like, I need that guy. I'm always surprised to see how they get you the next time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, Marvel, they got me with Mephisto. I don't have a devil figure. I don't have a Satan figure. So when I was like I remember you saying it a couple on a show, somebody's stream where you were like, if you don't have a devil, that's your devil now. That's your
There you
prominent
go.
devil. And he
Yeah.
comes with a throne and everything. Like
Yeah.
all he's ready made. And it's just like I said to myself, I was like, just when I said I was done with Marvel. You know, like they they show you this and you're like, ah, god damn it. Now I need this. And it was same thing was with G.I. Joe, man. Just when I think like, I don't how many more army men do I need? You see the next wave.
Yeah.
And then you see the next wave, and you're like, "Oh my god, they're making the reign of the
Yeah.
Vipers with the little porta potty thing that everybody's talking about. Like, it's just all these cool.
That thing's cool.
Every time you think, oh, I don't think they can do much more. It's well, they can. You're
They can.
surprised by it, you know.
So
And like I
how
said,
many legacy police officers you gonna get?
buddy, I already got 3 firefighters, and
Yeah.
I want more. I want at
Yeah.
least 5 firefighters. And for policeman, and this is the only time I would ever do this. About 6 to 8.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a good solid number because I just keep having this image in my head of Commissioner Gordon just standing there with his Gotham police unit getting
Yeah.
ready to go into to raid something more like before Batman hits the scene or whatever.
Well, I mean,
And
the loadouts that they come with are so versatile. You could have the SWAT guys, you could have the regular uniform guys.
yeah,
I mean, you could do so much with that. You could
yeah,
put it in
so nice.
almost any scene you could think of.
Oh, dude, and I want more legacy figures. I want
Yeah.
the EMT. I want all of
Yes.
so anytime they're gonna come out one of those, I will always army build those because they
Absolutely.
like now, for instance, I'm building like I don't know if you saw that Halo Mantis, that 4-inch mech
Oh
for
yeah.
the 4-inch figures. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to retrofit it for a 6-inch figure, and I was telling Woody, I was like, see, I don't really army build with GI Joe because GI Joe to me is like see those figures and I love the loadouts, dude. I
Man,
absolutely love all the
only
accessories they
thing they
come.
needed to come with was like a fire hose,
Oh
you know.
yeah, oh my god. And this is the dude, this is how crazy I am. I as soon as I got those figures, I looked over at my wife and I say, "Well, now I got to set a building on fire." And she said, "What?" I said, "I got to set it on fire and I got to put an actual hose in their hands and try to see if I can set it up where they're actually putting out a fire." But to me, the firefighters, the cops, they versatile.
Yeah.
If you have that cross platform appeal where
Yeah.
I can use this for this figure, I can use it for this line. Those are the ones I'm scared about. Those cops because
Yep.
they're gonna quietly release them and they're gonna quickly sell out because I know
Yeah.
everybody can army build with them.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll show up sometime in November, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I'm patiently waiting for them because I definitely want the car. I wish I don't know, man. I was shocked that Walmart actually followed through and we were able to find one of those displays because
man,
I did not believe it for a single second that that was going to come our way for
I
sure. Like at least this way.
so I there are a couple of them in my area. I only found one in the areas that I'm at, but
Okay,
of course, on the first day that I found him, he
you got
was
to grab. Oh
there,
hell yeah,
right?
hell yeah.
But yeah, so I was impressed and nice to see that they are actually coming out
They're
there.
actually following through with them. I'm very yeah,
Yeah,
because my wife went up. My wife works about an hour away from here, and she was like, "I'm gonna go to Walmart for my lunch or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Let's just see." And she's like, "All right." She hit me up like 5 minutes later. She's like, "I found 2 crystal balls. You want me to grab them?" And I'm like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "You serious?" She goes, "Yeah, they're all here." And I'm like, "God
nice.
damn, yes." I was like, "Grab them for me," But it's nice to find like figures on the shelf still. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
we're all about the exclusive on the Amazons and on all these websites, but when you go to the store and you still see you get that plastic in your hands, there's just something about that.
there's
I don't know
something
what it is.
about that.
It
Yeah,
fires them
absolutely.
endorphins where you're just like, fuck yeah, I'm so happy I was able to score it in the store and
Yep,
not have to run to a toy show or have to chase somebody down in the community and trade or
yep,
sell barter with them. It's nice when you still find it in the stores. And like I said, dude, your photography is getting better and better and better. You're applying so much level of details, whether it's lighting, whether it's the way you're shooting, the things like you talked about the werewolf staring through the window. Every time I give you a thumbs up or a heart on Instagram because I absolutely love the creativity. To me, I'm all about creativity. Like when it came to like Ace the articulating comic book art, I respect what they do, but like I'm a see I'm like you. I come from film. Photography was like kind of like a secondary thing. So I'm all about like shadows and making
Hmm.
things dramatic and mysterious. And they don't like that shit. They want it crystal clear. They want you to see every fucking
Right.
curve in the action figure. And I'm just like, well, when you're filming things, you're told the opposite. You have to create shadows and
Yep.
and drama and mystery. So to talk to somebody else and to see when I see your work, I immediately go, that's a film eye. That's not a photographer because a photography eye would just blast the shit with light and make sure you can see every little fucking detail. Whereas
Yeah.
he's creating an era of mystery and just and I'm sure he's going to enjoy hearing this. But like Punk too, his photography is going to the next level because you just
Yeah.
practice makes perfect, man.
Yeah.
Like you just do it. The more you do it, the more your eye gets sharper, and you start to see things. How and you're like, oh, I like that angle, and I like the depth perception or the depth of field, and all that stuff. Um,
Ed
but
and I have been pushing him that way for a while, and he started doing
yeah,
it. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's it.
yeah,
I mean, you've got an eye for this. You know what you want to see.
yeah, yeah,
You're
and it's
starting to
obvious.
figure out how to create tension and action.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. It's there. You're like, and here's the thing, dude. Like, one of the things I always promote on my channel is just have fun. You
yeah,
have fun with the toys. Like, don't let people tell you not to have fun with them or play with them because you're too old or you shouldn't be doing that. Go outside, play with your toys, get the fucking right shot. I got that's guys. See what you're doing, dude. I love the fucking animals.
man,
I
they are
absolutely,
amazing, aren't they?
I absolutely love all the animals, and I preach this on one of my members only streams. I am literally maybe the only person, but if I can wish this into existence, someone should just release an animal line,
Yeah.
just tigers, lions, everything. And I really think you'd be surprised to see how many people would pick up
Oh yeah,
articulating
absolutely.
animals. Like,
One of the collab prompts that we had not too long ago was pets. They said pets, and so
okay,
I put them all in one shot. So
that's
all of the GI Joe ones that I have, and then several others that I have from other
yeah,
lines, I threw them all in there. And if you
yeah.
take a look at that picture, they're doing some funny things.
Oh my god. You could catch Matt over on, like I said, every Tuesday at around 10 p.m. on Pop Blender's channel when they bring you the evening blend. I'm going to let him say his Instagram one last time for you to make sure it said right. What's your Instagram one more time, Matt?
Mamu's action figure blog.
Mamu's Action Figure Blog. There you can see all his great photography. He does a great job for real. And every week or every single day that he's posting pictures, you can see he's getting better and better and more creative. It's really what it is. Not better. It's more creative. And dude, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. You do a great job every time I see you on Instagram. And again, thank you so much for participating in the last Touch Grass Challenge. The pictures were fantastic, and I appreciate the fact that you wanted to participate. A lot of times I'm noticing some people just don't want to, they just don't want to. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the intimidation factor of having to take a picture or take the toys outside. But when you guys are talented, man. You're all creative. So I was happy to see that you were able to participate. And thank you for taking your time out of your schedule to come hang out with me today, man.
Absolutely.
I greatly appreciate this, man. This was a great fucking talk, and I would love to have you back in the future and we talk some more, man, because Pop Lender told me when I shut the camera off, I said, I'm gonna have him Matt Matson on here at some point. He goes, oh, you guys can just you guys be able to talk forever. I was like, yeah, probably. I because I see you whether you're on the Punk's Pit, whether you're on Three Star Draws channel, whether you're on Pop Lender. There's you're very enlightened dude. You have a lot of opinions and it's good. It's good. We should all have our opinions and not be ashamed to share them. That's one thing I truly believe in this space. But that being said, dude, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe to Matthew as well as Plot Blender, so you can catch him every Tuesday over there at 10 p.m. This has been this edition of Talking Figures. That's Matthew Matson. I am Tony, and until next time, everybody, do me a favor, keep on playing. Peace. Peace out. I said PC. Peace out, guys.